UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had. All right, guys, welcome in. Let me plug this headset in. I'm getting so caught up in all our stuff that I forget to put a headset on. Let me see how this works. We good? I didn't have you guys hear me okay? I hope so. JV will be with us here in just a second. My man Adam Sager's with us. Adam G. Sager on Twitter. I'm at Sean Unfiltered. Triple E, Laura, Bailey. We got a great team. Let's bring Segs in here on a Monday. So much to discuss. We got guys spitting and lying about it. Tough guy state troopers, chesting up to players down the tunnel, which I don't get. We got a third string that went to second string that got reps yesterday because the starter had a concussion, and people are up in arms about why he didn't get first-team reps. No quarterback in the history of mankind gets more love. Matter of fact, people are going to be talking about the Shedeur Sanders more than they are Josh Allen after another S on his chest Superman performance, which validates what we've been saying. Buffalo ain't winning a Super Bowl unless Josh Allen plays out of his mind. And they kicked Tampa Bay's ass, and Tampa Bay's pretty good. So there's a ton. Oh, by the way, A&M's comeback. South Carolina's got to be miserable today. Nobody's talking about Texas Tech outside the state of Texas, and we should be. Georgia's real, and Texas is done this year, folks. I hate to tell you that. Longhorn fans, I love you. You know I'm right here in Texas. I do. And I couldn't root harder for Arch and for Steve Sarkisian, but I will tell you this: they have not played well enough to get in. I know they're still alive, but it'll be a disservice to the other teams that keep winning. The Texas Longhorns are not making the playoff if it's done right the rest of the season, and there's not much of the season left. Sigs, we'll be talking spitting, Shedeur Sanders, and probably state trooper more than we will. The Chiefs are not winning their division, and are the Broncos real? I mean, all this stuff, and JB will hit on it as well.
Yeah, your main topics there. And then we had a great weekend of football. I mean, there were so many good games. I mean, we saw a lot of great football, a lot of bad football, including from the guy you just talked about in Shedeur Sanders. I mean, I had basketball, I had high school football, I had so much going on. Now I'm trying to buy a car. Everything is just
good luck with that, dude.
Right now.
Yeah, you might as well just pay a mortgage on these vehicles now, dude. It's crazy.
Jeez. So, yeah, it was a fun weekend of football. I thought there was some really good, some really bad. Chargers, bad. Like, what happened to them? Justin Herbert just got his ass kicked all day by the Jaguars defense. Texans barely beat the Titans without CJ Stroud. I mean, there was so much stuff going on in the NFL that I couldn't keep track yesterday. We've got injuries, Aaron Rodgers injured, Michael Penix. I mean, it's just insane right now in the NFL. And we were talking pre-show. You don't know who to bet on because none of these games make sense anymore.
No, they absolutely don't. And sometimes they're so one-sided that you're like, how'd that team one-sided?
Right.
How did this get to this point? How teams can't close and how some teams can. You saw, again, there were some horrendous. I mean, listen, our guy, J.J. McCarthy, good player. Sags, I think he's going to be a really good player. He's in over his head right now. The biggest mistake Minnesota made was letting Sam Darnold walk. I'm being honest. And then Sam goes out and throws 17 picks. What did I tell you last week? I said the only way Seattle will get boat race if Sam gets careless with the football. He's so good in having hell, the other guy's the MVP of the league right now, I would think, in Matt Stafford. But Sam's playing in that category. But sometimes he gets He trusts the arm like Favre, and it gets him in trouble.
Yes.
And it got him in trouble. So we got a lot to talk about. But as always, we'll bring in my man, the real coach, at the real coach _JB on Twitter. He's my dog. Is it dog with a D-O-G or is it D-A-W-G? I was going to say about bitch, but that would have been affectionate. But you're not my bitch.
It's a dog. It's a dog,
right? Yeah.
I refer that's how I address. Like I talked to Pat, and I was like, "Hey, you talked to that bitch Salisbury?"
Well, yeah.
Like,
Exactly. That's how we do, right? That's how we do. JB, good to have you on, man. I'm sure your show this morning had you lit like one of your 8 cigars a day when you roll over out of the sheet. There you go. Let me start here. I contend, as much as I like Buffalo, I picked them to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year, JB. I did. I think that you can move the ball on them defensively. They did a nice job yesterday. And I think that and they can run the football. But they're one of those teams that can be dominant, but Josh Allen can't play average and win. Jalen Hurts can. They've proven that. There are teams, even Stafford, which he hasn't played average much, can throw a pick or two and they can overcome it. If Josh Allen doesn't play great, they can't win a Super Bowl. What's the next level to Josh Allen and your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills?
I don't know. It's egregious not to make a trade at deadline. I don't know why they didn't give him some help outside on the perimeter. He's got a wideout they suspended because he's a shitbird and won't show up for team meetings. And then he's dancing on the sideline before the game. I went off on him on my show this morning. I would never have had him at the stadium because of that, what he did. I mean, basically, you're happy celebrating that you're not playing with your brothers. Shows you what this generation is about. This guy, he was suspended before the game, Sean, because he fucking misses.
Yeah.
And then he gets to celebrate with his team prior to the game. That's a shitbird. Here's the issue. You didn't get any
made his ass stay home, JB.
Yeah.
He should not have been allowed. Just say, listen, we're sending a message.
No.
If you don't respect our time enough to show up, then you don't get to be down here celebrating like one of the fellas. 100% agree.
And Sean, you played in the league. I had Sean King here all weekend, and he mentioned this too. They didn't suspend him for missing this team meeting. You agree to that? It's been something going on.
Oh, this is not, they usually don't do that for a one-time thing. They'll handle a little fine behind the scenes.
They would have fined you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
First is the fine, and then if this is either continuous or something else is going on, they hit you with something deeper. The first time, and Denny Green always used to say this, JB, at the beginning of the year in training camp, how you go over the book, security, and how we're going to run this team. And I'll never forget his first meeting with us in Minnesota, the new sheriff in town, and then we'd go through, and then he'd go through the fines. Show up late for a meeting the first time. He goes, I'm not going to hold a grudge against you the first time. He goes, you just fine yourself. If you're not on time, you fine yourself. And it'll go to the team party or to charity, and that'll be fine. It's when you're doing it 3 and 4 times, something else kicks in, and then he's got to take notice because it's disrespectful to the rest of the guys. And a lot of times if you miss it, nobody says anything because you get fined and you move on. But you're exactly right. It's usually not a one-off that gets you suspended. It's usually the fine is a one-off. So there you go and celebrate. So is Buffalo a legit threat if Allen plays well? And JB, do you see another level to his game? What else can he do?
I mean, see, we're always about what have you done for me lately, Sean?
Right.
Last few weeks, he's been very average. And the team struggled because he has no help. And here's the issue. This is back 2-3 years ago, Josh Allen again being Superman or having to be Superman. We've all seen that story in that movie already. He can't win this way. They can't win as a team this way with no help. Aaron Rodgers got out of Green Bay because he got no help. And this is another reason why Josh Allen now is going to be – we're going to have official gripes and legitimate gripes about why aren't you surrounding him with something more? He has no roster balance. They can't throw the ball and run the ball with the same guy, Sean Cook. He can't be their pass lead catcher and runner. Like at the end of the day, and then Josh Allen's their leading rusher. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't think he can. It's not sustainable. You're asking him to do too much. And let's be honest, we don't look at Josh Allen as like a purist when we talk about throwing the football as a quarterback spinner. He's a huge arm, huge freakish athlete, and a gamer, right? We all know he's a freak, and he's one of one. But he's not a guy in the pocket, sit back, dissect coverage, throw the ball on time. He's not Brady. He's not Montana. He's not Aikman. So I don't know if you are thinking that way as a GM because I'm not there. You're not there. I don't know if that's how they think, and they're saying we don't want to surround him with another big-time wideout because it doesn't help us anyway. I don't know if that's the thought process, but I know this. Dalton Knox and Kincaid cannot be their leading receivers and them winning a title, because at the end of the day, you can only be in 12P so much. So I don't know what they're doing, but I don't know if it's sustainable, Sean. I really don't. And I think that there's too many good teams on defense this year with Denver and the Colts that I don't know if he can get by.
At the real coach _ JB on Twitter. JB, real quick, one last thing to finalize this. Could it be simply the case of, that Life cereal commercial that you and I grew up on with Mikey? Let's get Mikey. He'll do anything, right? He'll eat it. Is it the case there that he's so good, talented-wise, maybe not the pure Stafford drop back and rip it, or Brady, like you said, or even Drake May, the way he throws it pure, right? But is it a case that he's so good, you just kind of figure I'll put other guys around him that maybe not as good and that we'll be fine? Has it gotten spoiled for the Buffalo Bills because of him?
If I'm that, then I gotta question the coaching staff and say malpractice at its all high time high. Right. Here's why, Sean. You and I have been in a coaching room where our best players coming to us and he's looking defeated because he's doing so much, and we're like, damn, I feel shitty now as a head coach to say I haven't either A, done my job good enough, well enough to surround you with talent, or B, calling shitty game or whatever it may be. So I feel bad for you. Like, the coaches and GM and everybody in that office doesn't look at him every day and say, damn, what can we do when he's limping, taking hit after hit, running around, running over dudes, jumping over dudes? They're not looking at this thing and saying, how are we going to keep Josh Allen as a Buffalo Bill for the duration of his career, Sean? There's no way if I'm Josh Allen's agent and I'm not in his ear after another year or two of this and saying, hey, man, our best move may be to get out of Buffalo. I mean, when is that conversation going to start up? Because at the end of the day, this is not sustainable. If the team's just going to continue to think he's going to run you over, outrun you, throw it, like, we're going to see a quarterback age very quickly, as we've seen with so many freak athletes.
JB, he's going to start spending the practice week in the tub or in the plunge pool, and then just have to come out and go through walkthrough on Saturday and just perform again on Sunday. You're going to have to treat him like you would a running back that gets 30 carries a game. That's what it's become, but he's special. All right, to the AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs are not going to win the division. They're already 4 games behind the Broncos, and I think they got to play them again on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I can't remember which one.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Are the Denver Broncos... If I'm selling you on this, are the Denver Broncos a Super Bowl threat in the AFC?
Yes.
I understand the record at 9-2. Are they? And are the Kansas City Chiefs going to see February or January, middle January this year?
No, because I think the Chargers, with even though as banged up as they are, Harbaugh is such a great coach. I think he's getting that team. That was a shocking loss yesterday. They pulled Herbert out because they just can't protect him. Jacksonville's good on D. Listen, Chargers to be 7-4 without either one of their bookend tackles is an astonishing job, number one. Number two, they're still 2 games out. That's all they are in the AFC West for a team that's as banged up as the Chargers are, is a great job so far, number one. Number two, Sean just keeps winning there in Denver. Like, that's the bottom line. Peyton keeps winning, and everyone talks about it's kind of, they're getting the Eagle syndrome a little bit on how
they're the AFC's version.
Yes. Yeah, they're not good, but they're fucking 9-2. And at the end of the day, winning matters. And you can say what you want to say about Jalen Hurts, and they're winning in spite of him or because of him, and whatever you want to say. He's a winner, and Sean Payton's a winner at the end of the day, and he's figuring it out. And guess what? Defense travels. And offensive play calling matters when it comes to handling a second-year quarterback in Bo Nix and making the right play at the right time. He doesn't need to make the 3 for 400 yards. He doesn't need to be Peyton Manning or Elway in Denver. He just needs to not turn the ball over and make plays when they matter, and that's what Sean Payton is doing with him, putting him in the right spot at the right time with the Harvey kid at running back that's kind of shown up. They lost their big back. So, everyone's going through injuries this time of the year, but Denver at 9-2, along with New England, you got to take them serious at some point because they're 9-2, and they both have solid defenses, and quarterbacks are not turning the ball over. I don't know if there's more of a recipe for success than that.
Yeah, they win late. They know how to win. They're winning games at times in spite of quarterback production, but those quarterbacks seem to make some of their best plays late, and their defense is eerily similar. Yeah, with Philly and
they're battle tested, John. They came back against the Giants at down 20 at 1. They came back against 4 other teams. You can say, they should be 5-0 6. Well, okay.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not. We play 60 minutes for a reason. Great
like
point.
Sean could have, labia lips. He doesn't. Right. He has balls, I hope.
Yeah. Well, I know Sean does, but in this day and age, I'm not sure I'll do. Real quick, JB, before I get to a couple other topics. I love Dan Campbell. Is he too much of a gambler? 5 times, 0 for 5 on 4th down. I know that's how they live. Can you live like that and be a Super Bowl champion? And Goff was awful yesterday, which we haven't seen much in the last few years. He's been really good. He was awful. And so were the Detroit Lions offense.
Yeah, this is a game you play a guy like Fangio, who's up, probably 1A, 1B best DCs in football, right?
He and Spagnuolo, Brian Flores, they're all in that category, no doubt.
So if you face that guy, second week is turning over the play calling duties and saying, hey, I'm going to take this over. You can say what you want. I've done this thing and done both ways. Had to call the O, turn it over, take it back. Sean, you know that, first of all, do I have the buy-in from my guy I demoted? Is he helping me in the booth like I pay him to do? I know he's demoted. I know he's been around a long time, and he's coached with Sean Payton, and he's coached with a lot of guys, and he's been around a long time, but he demoted him. So now he's a grown-up. I think he's handling it right. But did you really get to sit down and game plan and go through scouting reports and create your own scouting report as now the head coach and play caller and getting time for a Fangio defense in Philly? I don't know. That's where I think it bit him last night. Plus the 40-mile-an-hour winds probably didn't help Goff. But at the same time, that's what it looked like to me. It looked like he was getting a masterclass on defense. Now, I'm not doubting Campbell can't do it in a couple weeks. Right. But as week 2 taking over the play calling duties, this juggernaut happened to fall on the schedule. And I think they're going to take a bump in the road when it comes to that, because this would have been a great game to maybe let your OC be the guy, and then you come back after this game. But he took it over when he did. Head coaches, guess what? We get the blame, we get the credit, and at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. And he took it. So he's a big boy. He's got big shoulders. He can carry it. I think they'll bounce back. I think losing Ben Johnson, like I said on your show to start back in February, that was going to be their biggest obstacle, and it's still proving what it is. Like they've done some things, they've won some games, and they've shown great explosive plays, calling duties last week in Detroit, other things. But I still think at the end of the day, it's going to bite you without having Ben Johnson, because he takes so much off the head coach, and now the head coach has to add this to his plate. I think it's the demise of the Detroit Lions this year.
JB, let's get to, and it's a good point. Even as a head coach, you got so much to do. But boy, their fourth downs were a major struggle.
The analytical side that I wish a guy that chews dip and is a man's man and he's an NFL coach.
Staring at a card, dude. It's staring at a card.
Why are we doing this analytical shit?
Because some guy sitting at an Ivy League school is told
they left 9 points out there, didn't they? Right. 9 points.
Yeah, at least, which is the difference in the game.
I don't understand this shit, man.
There you go. All right, JB. All right. Quarterback evaluation. Shedeur Sanders. Go ahead.
Horrible. I mean, that's what he is. That's what I said he is. Like, this is what the problem. He's been this guy. I don't understand it. Sean, I don't understand the whole – he's a fifth-round guy. Let's stop bullshitting around. Like, I don't understand. And guess what? The guy you wanted out so bad, Dylan Gabriel, was a third-round guy. So am I tripping, Sean? Am I out of pocket? Am I a hater when I say the guy that was drafted in the 5th round, 2 rounds later, looked like he belonged to be drafted in the 5th round 2 rounds later? Did he not? I mean, Dylan Gabriel scored 16 points in one half of football. Shedeur scored 0. He didn't do anything. I mean, listen, I don't want to hear the first team rep.
Well, yes, that's where I wanted to go.
You can speak on that more than me, but I broke down 12 quarterbacks, including Sean King, who came in for Trent Dilfer week 11 as a rookie, never played, didn't get any snaps in practice. Sean King came out and told me and said the whole story and had to go to Seattle and play a really good Seattle Seahawks team and got the dub and played for Trent Dilfer, came in the second quarter, and he couldn't even make an excuse like they're making for him right now. And you know that.
I just don't get it. And you'll get people that are sitting here, you'll get guys like me or Luke McCown or Orlovsky or Kurt Warner or guys that have done both backup and starter, but spend a majority of their time not getting first team reps. Your first team reps were the other team's scout team throwing against the first team defense. You do get those reps. That's where you do it. And you try to execute while it was the other team's offense. A curl, still a curl, still a curl, a dig, still a dig, still a gig, a comeback, an outcut, shallow cross, all that. It may be different verbiage, but when I'm running scout team, I treated it like I was playing against the first team defense, JB. And that's where you get your reps if you're taking them serious, which I did not only to give my team a look, what they were going to face, but trying to be Dan Marino. You can't be Dan Marino because the ball physically can't come out. I mean, we're not a machine, yet you're trying to do all the things and throw it on time, even when a guy's not open, like Marino would. But you took those serious because you are playing then as the scout team guy against the first team defense without it being your verbiage, but it's similar plays because everybody in the league runs the same plays, folks. Different verbiage, different guys running them. Every fucking guy in the league, every team in the league runs the same exact plays, just labeled different. So as a scout team quarterback, that's how you got, and that's the backup. Every now and again, this would happen. They bring you in. Warren Moon gets 10 first team reps, and then the 11th play of first team is a handoff on a stretch play. Oh, Sean, go in there and run. You go and run it. The next play's blitz pickup. Warren's back in, rightfully so. So you got to do extra time mentally to study. To me, it looked like Shedeur Sanders didn't understand where the pass protection, where the breakdown was. Two is his feet were happier than a guy that had 15 kids after a soccer game at a Happy Meal at McDonald's. I get it. Point is that he's a rookie. Every rookie's swimming, and you could tell he was swimming. Had no idea. Made a few plays because he's got some athleticism and made a good throw on a dig route. But he also, when you know you're going to get hit and the offensive line didn't give him much help, that's when you know the ball's got to come out quicker. You can't sit back there and jack it off for 4 or 5 seconds. And so you're taking sacks, even though you didn't get a lot of help. I get all that. But first team reps guys just don't get them unless two guys are shuffling back and forth. But normally a first team quarterback, and don't say Penix or Jackson Dart, because you know why they're starting? I mean, get reps because they're starters. I saw somebody try to compare it. Well, they start. So the scout team reps or where a backup quarterback has to make it treat it like it's your first team reps. You just do. Because why? Well, that's when you get them. And the starter should be taking 85, 90, 90%. Now, if a guy's hurt during the week, but he's still going to play, but he's getting reps, you may get a couple extra just in case. In Shedeur Sanders' case, he didn't. Because in truth, if everybody's healthy, he's not in uniform on the sideline. He's the emergency guy or the emergency guy in uniform, right? JB. So, yeah, the first team reps thing baffles my mind. You can argue what he looked like yesterday, but it looked to me like a guy who hasn't played, that can make some throws, but he wasn't real good. And you can tell he has no idea, like most rookies, that never got any work, trying to understand where the protection problems are. JB has no idea.
Maybe he should have listened to Tom Brady when he tried to tell him, hey, man, fuck buying a Bentley. Go watch some film. But guess what? Then you're a hater and all this. Oh, let him have fun. Shut up. I'm so tired of dealing with this shit. The shit is played out. It's old. Hey, by the way, Sean, did Dylan Gabriel get any first team fucking reps when he was backing up Flacco?
No.
So, but he started, right? And then he had to go through the same thing,
okay,
right?
Why do we do this? Then why will he be the biggest topic on social media today, JB? The truth. You tell me.
Clicks and likes.
Is it a race thing? Is this a race thing?
Well, by all the race baiters, of course. Not by us. Not by us. We play football. He's shitty or he's not. I don't care.
If you can help me win or if you're causing me to lose, I don't care what skin color, religion, where you come from, dude. That makes no difference. That's what I'm saying.
I think Dylan Gabriel's Hawaiian and something anyway.
Yeah. Are we judging this quarterback based on why are we supposed to treat this any different than any other third string, second string, a guy who doesn't get reps that comes off the bench when you got a million of us that are telling you this is the way they treated it?
Let me ask you,
number one guy gets all the work for the most part, other than maybe a handoff during team drill to give the other guy a chance to go grab a drink of water. If there's a throw or something happens, the starter's taking the rep. Why is he different than anybody else? And I think the kid's got a chance at some point. He doesn't got a chance now because he doesn't know what's going on, and most rookies don't.
I want to know this.
But I just don't get that this is the hottest commodity. I mean, he's a backup quarterback that had a chance to play yesterday and wasn't very good. Neither was his team offensively. They couldn't block shit. They're horrible. And he didn't help. So
Let me ask you
I
this.
just don't get it.
Does Dylan get the fucking same passes when they don't block for him? Does he get all the how is Dylan supposed to throw the ball? They don't block for him. Well, he's been starting for 4 weeks. They haven't blocked for him yet. I haven't seen one person come out and talk about how shitty the O-line is. All of a sudden, it's the O-line's fault, Sean. All of a sudden. Guess what? Guess who sets the O-line's protection? Quarterback. So unless he's not setting it, because he don't know what the hell he's doing, all of a sudden it's the O-line's fault because they slid 4 to a side against a 50.
Does he know, like any other rookie, where the free runner's coming?
No,
absolutely not. And he didn't set his feet at all even when he could set his feet to get out. So listen, I understand he's a rookie, no reps, but that's part and parcel to being the backup. So you got to spare. I just don't understand how this guy is being treated any different than anybody else. As a coach, I just want production from my people, my players. Does he make it better? And maybe he'll be good. I didn't expect anything from him yesterday, and he didn't give you anything. And he's not going to get reps unless he's a starter. Now, he'll get reps this week. And if he plays well, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, he got reps for his team. No, what it'll be is you got to see it and you're more engaged in it, because a lot of third stringers and second stringers aren't as engaged as they need to be.
Hey, Sean,
and learn a valuable lesson, hopefully, from yesterday.
Have you heard Herbert getting all these fucking passes?
No, he's a veteran. He's supposed to overcome it, JB. That's what they'll tell you.
I think he lost I think he lost 2 O-linemen that I don't think Cleveland could afford.
I just don't understand. No matter, take him 8, put a different number. Gabriel is a backup. When Russ Wilson was getting all the first team snaps, Jameis Winston wasn't getting any look. He played pretty decent. I know he's a veteran, but rookie, non-first round picks that aren't starting don't get work, folks. You may think at home that he's supposed to get work because you think Cleveland would be better with him. Now, that's fine if you think Cleveland's better with Shedeur Sanders. I'm not going to argue that. You go ahead. I got my take on it. The Flacco's still their best quarterback, and he's playing in Cincinnati. But with that in mind, forget all that. It's just the quarterback, he's a rookie. He's going to struggle, and it happens. And then backup quarterbacks don't get work, especially guys you didn't expect to see the field. It's the way the position's judged. All right, the problem with the state trooper, I was waiting for the player running up the tunnel. State trooper, he should have been relieved of his duties at the South Carolina Texas A&M game, and there you see it again. And he not only caused it, he did it to both guys, and then he chased him down and was looking for a fight. One of these days, somebody's going to turn back around and unload on the guy. Now, listen, I understand respecting officers, but this guy didn't respect the players on the field, and he should have been taken off his assignment, and he is. It was a punk move by him. I don't know how he is away from this. I'm judging it by this incident, and he should be taken off it, and we should only judge him by this. And now people that work with him can give you whatever they want. In this circumstance, it was a guy looking for a fight from a visiting team. That's all I'm telling you. Relieved of his duties, and he should have been JB, and I have no problem with him being relieved of it. And he was the instigator in all this, and the player handled it, quite frankly, both of them, with grace. And did a great job with it, because I would have wanted to go back and unload on it, but you're kicking their ass at the time, and it changed. But you can't do this, because then it makes people open up the can of worms of what's he like when nobody's watching, and that's a bad thing, right? But I'm judging this incident.
If the player pushes him, does this guy pull out his pistol and shoot him?
I don't have any idea. If the player pushes him, the player's going to get arrested.
I'm just saying, what's going on here? The guy has a gun. He's a cop.
Right.
This is a horrible fucking look. I have no idea what the deal is.
Bad optics.
Here's the issue I have. Weddle broke it down earlier on my show. This guy's supposed to be protecting the players regardless of who they are.
Right.
Not going into the tunnel where you're not protecting anybody. What are you going in that dark tunnel for? You're supposed to be out on the field where the patrons are, not where no one is. So that's number one.
His job is to keep people safe regardless of the walk of life or where they played or where they're playing or what tunnel it's in. And I'm going to tell you this, JB. Like I said, I have nothing but respect as a guy who had an uncle that was a Downey police chief and the rest of it. But in this case, remember, not all people that wear badges and not all. What my point is just because they got a uniform on doesn't mean they're all good people. Now, I don't know what he's like at home. I don't know what he's like on the private when a camera's not on. I don't know what he's like when he's on duty away from a stadium. I'm judging him by this. It's a bad look because it makes us open up a can of worms for what is going on away from here. I'm just judging him on this. And not only is it bad optics, It's a chicken shit move by him.
Yeah, that's what the bottom line.
It's just
it's
a chicken
bitch
shit
made.
coward, right? A coward move by a guy with a badge and a gun. And I've got nothing but respect for guys with a badge and a gun. This guy gave every other officer that's in that stadium a bad look and a bad name. And good on the player for continuing to go back and take care of his business. And it's just horrible optics. Not only should he be relieved of his duties the rest of this year, he should not be allowed to cover a game. Get back to doing your job. Now what he's done is people are going to keep a closer eye on him to what he's doing away from this kind of stuff. And that's all on him. No question about it.
Yeah, it's a bad look, man. I don't know what the hell. This is a joke. And if I'm the head coach or if I'm the president of that university,
yeah,
you got to get ahead of this one.
No question about it. And good on South Carolina and the player and both players to take a look back, like, what is going on here? They were probably stunned. That's their field of play. This is their home. Even though it's not their home, South Carolina. Well, you're on the field of play. It's two teams. They're playing. You're in their workspace now. You're supposed to protect it. He did nothing but enhance a little bit of trouble, which was really bothersome. And good on A&M in their second half. What a phenomenal second half. That's called over. That's what my A&M's different this year, and we'll get to that as the week goes on. All right, let's finish up with this. I contend, I don't care how good a person you are, there's no bigger bitch move in sports. There's two of them. Stealing from a teammate in your own locker room. You leave your locker open to go shower and somebody takes your money out of your wallet or steals something. Second, somebody who's okey-doke, somebody you're dating, or a family situation. And this, spitting on an opponent or your player. There can be no pussy-ass coward move in sports and then lying about it. I respect his game. I ain't judging him on his game right here. I'm judging him on him. One day a guy's going to spit. We see it too often. He's going to spit in the wrong guy, and that guy's going to open up such a can of whoop-ass on him that we're all going to turn our back and let him do it and not care one bit how bad he beats him down. Well, you can't add to trouble by doing it. No, when you spit, you've crossed a line that there is no rules. As good as Jamar Chase is, this move was just as big a punk move as it was his talent on the field. And then to lie about it, and you could see the spit. JB, there's nothing worse to do to a teammate or an opponent than this.
Yeah, it's on. Like I'm looking for him to this day. I'm looking for him every day. We're gonna cross paths somewhere.
Oh yeah,
some event, training in the off season, summer. We're gonna find each other, and it's not gonna be forgotten. That's the part, because you spit on me. That means you give a shit less about me as a human being, and there's no regard, and that's where it is. To me, slapping and spitting. Right. Slap another man being slapped by another man. Those are the two biggest bitch moves. One taking it. Yeah.
Hey, if you're Jamar Chase and you want to prove your tough guy stuff, chest up and throw up, then fight him. Don't spit on him. If you want to get kicked, chest up and fight him. If that's what you want to show how tough you are. I don't know who's winning that battle, but if you want to do that, fine. But it's just such a coward, disrespectful move. And JB, you're right. This is where, a lot of times we say, like, JB, this, you've coached teams. You get in a fight with a coach on the field, like an argument, or players get in fights all the time during training camp, right? You separate them, and then they're buddies when you walk back in the locker room. This stuff here, that leaks into the club. That leaks into the dinner place. That leaks into when you're at a function, because now you're saying it wasn't football. This is just blatant disrespect. And you're looking for revenge and an ass whooping in any walk of life when somebody does this to you. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, yeah, you're definitely right. Here's the issue, too. I would have respected him more if he would have went to the press conference and said, yeah, I fucking spit on him. Fuck him. Yeah. I'd be like, all right, then he's about to smoke and about that life, and that's what he wants to do. I would, like me, I'm going to say all
the smoke, right? Smoke the smoke. Let's go, right?
Hey, all right, fuck it. I respect that. But then for you to go lie and bitch out after you already did a bitch move, now you're a bitch. Let's be honest. Right. That's what you are. Like, now that you've crossed the line. So now you've done nothing but disrespected us and the game, first of all, and then the player, and then the teammate, and the guy that, Jalen's a little older, but God forbid you guys get traded to the same team one day.
Oh, yeah. This is just can't do it, and it was a weak-ass move. Biggest takeaway from the weekend before I let you go. Maybe the Rams, are they the best team in football in your mind right now, JB?
I think so, because Stafford was average yesterday. He had his worst game of the year, in my opinion, just watching the game closely. And And then you can say Sam Darnold threw 4 picks, but the Rams are his like kryptonite. He struggles against the Rams, but he's been great all year. He was great last year at 14-2 in Minnesota. Minnesota's suffering because they lost Sam Darnold. You can't convince me otherwise. And at the end of the day, maybe just the Rams are a team he can't beat. Peyton Manning couldn't beat Tom Brady. We've all had those type of teams that just get the better of us. At the end of the day, Stafford wasn't very good. So the guys on the other side saying Darnold turned it over 4 times, Sean, well, guess what? Stafford played very bad. That is equal to your 4 turnovers. Don't expect him to play that bad again in Seattle the next time they go and play. What is expected, though, Sean, the Rams defense travels too, and their defense is real. So is the Seahawks. But guess what? The Rams have more weapons other than the Jigma, I think, as a team. Their running back, Williams, is very good. They got 3-4 weapons on offense outside, and Stafford's the best ball spinner, in my opinion, the most consistent guy out there. And, 330 in the snow against the Super Bowl champs last year in Philly. That's who he is, and I think he'll continue to get better as the season goes along. McVay will keep him upright. I think the Rams are the best team. They should have beat Philly. It is what it is. They lost to 49ers that were super banged up, uncharacteristic loss for the Rams. They smacked them again around last week, though, to get back even with them. But at the end of the day, this Ram teams can easily be an 11-0 team. But I think it goes to L.A., and they got to keep winning because they don't want to go to Philly, who's their kryptonite. So I think they are the best team. But Seattle's in there. They're in the mix. But Sam Darnold's got to do it on the biggest stage when it matters, and that's kind of his knock, right?
Yeah, well, last year, the 2 games at the end for Minnesota is probably why he's not in Minnesota. He had a great year, and then against Detroit in the playoff game did not play well. And then this one, he trusts his arm so much. I said last week, JB, during the middle of the week on our show here, that if Sam Darnold, his problem is he trusts it so much that he'll get a little careless with the football, which puts him in a bind, and you just can't do that against the Rams because they make you pay for it. My man, great stuff. As always, look forward to every Monday, and hope you have a good week on the show. And it's always good to have you on, brother. Appreciate you, and I love you, man.
Love you, brother.
All right, you too. That's great. That's JB, the real coach _JB. Love him, and always great to get it on. And Segs, bringing you back in here. Listen, when you do Jamar Chase is a great player, but that doesn't take away from the spitting stuff. To me, I just don't get, not only do it and lie about it, I just don't get what in your mind thinks, when all else fails, let me just spit in a guy's face. I don't get the thought process of it. And if you're Jalen Ramsey, those are some of those things you say, no, this isn't just a game-related thing. This is a problem. And I've never met a tough guy that spit in somebody's face. He's a talented dude, but I've never met a real tough guy that spit in somebody's face. That kind of you lose the tough guy man card when you do that.
Yeah, it's just such, the only way I can describe it is such a bitch move.
It is.
That's it. And like JB said, if he would have came out afterwards and not lied about it, the lying makes him an even bigger bitch.
Right. And then said, you know what? I shouldn't have done it, man. I got to
not even own it.
We'll still hammer him for spitting because it's in you to think about even spitting is one thing, but then just to own it. But now you do it. Now we got to double down on it for a great player. Bad choice, bad optics. We had a lot of bad optics yesterday. We did, and it's Saturday. A lot of them. That trooper Segs, bad optics, right? Yes. Bad optics. It's just and now you open up. Hell, he may be a great police officer, a great state trooper. He may be great away from that, but right then and there makes us all think, oh, you're not great. There's a problem here, and I don't know. The first thing people say, oh, it's race related. I've seen that on social media. To me. This is just a guy who, whatever reason, and listen, people are going to speculate like crazy. I'm going to keep it to this because I don't know where his beat is or what he does or how his coworkers feel about it. I know this: he instigated it. He was a punk doing it, and the players handled it like a charm. And he's the one who threw both his arms out and then chased him down. Like, what's he going to say? That's not his tunnel. He's there basically as a guest to keep people safe. So now I understand why. Well, is somebody thinking race? Is somebody thinking, what kind of cop he is away from? What happens if a camera's off? I see all that. I don't even think he thought anybody was going to get it, but how can you be that dumb? Guy ran, big play, runs up into the tunnel. What do you think the camera's on? Okay, well, last time we saw somebody run far up the tunnel, remember Bo Jackson did that one against Seattle, ran up the tunnel. Of course, the camera's staying on you, which makes it even worse because now we're wondering if you knew no camera was on, what would this have turned out? What if he'd a player to chase your ass down? Like at some point, someday, somebody's going to do. I don't encourage that. Like I said, I don't know what kind of state trooper he is. I know in this case, the can of worms got open because of it, and it was handled properly by taking him off the assignment, but he shouldn't get it back. But the way he handled it is a bad thing. The way the players handled it was with grace and the way they should have handled it.
Well, I mean, just the way that he was walking up the tunnel, which where's he going? It's the middle of the game. Your job is to stay on the field and, keep fans
right after the play. Right.
Yes,
like he was chasing him down. Right.
Yes. And maybe if he's walking up the tunnel to make sure, I don't know what the field's exactly like there, but no fans are reaching over to grab the players or something along those lines. No, he walks right into him, bumps into both players, and
he was looking for a fight.
Because then he turned around and walked right back onto the field. It wasn't like he was going to the bathroom or something along those lines. He turned and walked back onto the field. So, yeah, I mean, I was very impressed by Nick Harbor and the other player that just, kind of looked back like, what the hell? And then
I'm sure they were shocked.
Yeah, I believe so too.
And you know what else sags about this? Is remember the time of the game. I don't know how invested this guy is in Texas A&M football, but the time of the game, they were getting curb stomped. Now Marcel Reed, the way they came back and took care of their business second half, we'll hit that tomorrow, even heavier, Segs, on our college day. Tribute to and Mike Elko getting rewarded with a new contract is going to be huge. And he validated that with a piss poor first half and a phenomenal second half. That's why we play 60 minutes, not 48 or 52. But this right here, bad optics. And we saw a lot of that over the weekend with Jamar Chase and with this state trooper.
Yeah. And when you look at it, Nick Harbor, who I mentioned, the big wide receiver who, has gotten some pub. He was one of the top ranked players in the country, stayed home, went to South Carolina, and he's like a track star and all this stuff. And he's probably their best offensive weapon outside of Lenora Sellers. Well, is this guy, you're going up big, your team's losing. You're going to work these games. You're probably a Texas A&M fan. You get to be on the field, watch the game the entire time. And now is he trying to keep, maybe start something that maybe the kid pushes him, maybe Harbor pushes him, and then he's ejected from the game, or worse. And it's just so many questions to be answered, and we'll never get the answers on this because, Texas A&M did their job, relieved this guy of his game day duties, and see ya. But, I mean, I want more answers because South Carolina,
I want answers from the state
players.
I want answers from the state trooper.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to hear what that guy has to say about
South Carolina deserves answers from that guy. And maybe they did get them. Maybe they did get them after the game and they say, okay, we're going to leave it alone. And whatsoever, he was fired and he lost his gig that, probably pays pretty decent, little side gig.
State trooper's going to face a lot of scrutiny now because of it. Yes. They're going to be watching him your job should be evaluated all the time. But nobody even knew the guy was in this, and he chased him up, chased him back. Hell, he even pointed the finger at like he was coming after him again. It just, my respect for military, first responders, police officers, state troopers is through the roof. But just because they got a uniform on doesn't absolutely mean. Well, Jamar Chase, boy, do I respect his game. And I didn't think he was going to be that kind of guy to spit. Now, is it a lifetime sentence? No. But I'll tell you what never goes away, that, he's the guy who spit at another player. You do that dignity and that character flaw, and it may not be a flaw, it may be a one-time flaw, but the fact that he went to a flaw, I'd have rather had him swing, break his hand, and at least he didn't swing on Jalen Ramsey than spit in his face. At least it shows me your thought process in the right place. But to refer to spitting and then to chase down these players and throw a double forearm shiver at both these players, bad optics. But there was a lot better football played over the weekend than some of these optics we saw.
I don't know about you, but I think the best football we saw of the weekend came from Georgia, just manhandling Texas. I think that was, the game of the weekend that no team showed me more. Texas A&M showed me a little bit coming back. Teams are going to get down. Everybody's like, oh, you got to take Texas A&M down because of this, struggle of the first half against South Carolina.
No, I reward them for actually being resilient. I don't knock them down.
especially in this day and age where the college football playoff being 12 teams, a loss doesn't kill you if you're Texas A&M. They could afford to lose 2 games, and you're probably still in it if you lose to South Carolina and then say go lose to Texas in a couple weeks. But no, they found a way to come back at home and give their fans something to cheer about and get the 1-point victory. Now, yeah, I think it makes you look at Texas A&M a tiny bit differently. And when we say, because some people were saying,
well, you're treading a little lightly right now.
Yeah, right. Some people were saying they should be the number 1 team in the country. They should be over Ohio State, be over Indiana. And I think that when you look at who they've beaten, I think it makes you kind of take a step back and say, okay, maybe I don't have Texas A&M on this elite tier that we have maybe Ohio State on and Indiana if you want. So I think that game really shows something. But Georgia right now, with the way Texas A&M did play in that first half, I think Georgia might be the best team rolling because they continue to beat really good teams. Ohio State hasn't beaten anyone lately. Indiana has, they've had some ups and downs, but they keep winning games. Georgia right now might be the best playing team in the country.
Where's the weakness? They don't run the ball great. Alabama, I'm talking about they run it fine. Don't misunderstand me. I was thinking about Alabama for a second, thinking in that game, man, if Alabama doesn't get their run game back, they're going to get their ass handed to them, and they did. And we talked about last week, the run game had to be efficient. Georgia's quarterback runs it. They run it physical enough at the line of scrimmage. Their defense is playing like Georgia's defense usually plays, and they punish you. And they beat the Texas Longhorns down. I'm with you. Offensively, they can run it and throw it. The quarterback can run it. They'll protect the quarterback. He's made big plays. They protect the football. And on defense, they force you into long-yarded situations. They get after you. And you have to run the ball, which led me to Alabama, which they're not running it well. They become a one-dimensional team, Segs, and that's going to cause them a problem. And it did in this weekend's game against Oklahoma. And Venables had a great plan for them. But on the other side of it, and they earned it, I think Georgia right now can beat anybody, and that's not disrespect to Ohio State. But we said it 3-4 weeks ago. Look out now. Mm-hmm. They're starting to get this thing, and they know how to win in big moments. That's Kirby Smart's MO. And if you're soft, that's the wrong team to play. And Texas has got a really physical defense, and they pushed them around. And the Longhorns are done. The Longhorns are the Longhorns cannot. I know that there's the 10th team going in. But to lose again, Segs, people would be up in arms if what do they got left? Texas A&M? I don't think they can beat Texas A&M if they both play their best. I don't. A&M's a better team, but I have so much respect for Texas. But we can't keep making excuses for where they are. They're getting beat, and they've been playing well the last couple weeks, and that's another reason they've been playing really good football. And to be dismantled like the way they were. And they're coming out in the first quarter. Arch Manning put 4 balls on guys' hands, and bam, that set the tone for the game. Ball drop, ball drop, ball drop, ball drop. And then went to hell in a handbasket. And, Georgia can score on anybody, and they can defend anybody in the country right now. I don't have an argument with that. There's some really good ones. But for people that love Georgia right now, hell, you probably love some Notre Dame too if you've watched them play. They're playing pretty damn good football. There's about 4 or 5 teams that are clearly better than the second 5 teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think when you're talking about Texas and being out of it, you just have to look at the rankings. Now, we'll get the college football playoff rankings. I think that will tell us a lot tomorrow night when they come out for each week. But I just look, there's too many 1 and 2 loss teams in front of Texas for them to, if Michigan continues to win, and they had a hard-fought win against a very tough Northwestern team at Wrigley Field. USC, one of those games that, against Iowa, you never know what you're going to get. And USC was never really able to get that first punch in the mouth against Iowa. But they found a way to win. So, I mean, those 2 teams have a chance if they continue to win. And now they got some tough tests.
USC beats Oregon and UCLA. They're in.
They're in.
They are going to get in. Yes.
Michigan beats Maryland and Ohio State. Most likely they're in.
Yeah.
Now, the USC thing could, if they win out, that could be one of those 2, and then USC would go because they beat Michigan. But I mean, it's crazy with the amount of 1 and 2 loss teams that Herb Street would make this argument that Texas is still. I mean, he made it sound like they're in it now. You just got your ass kicked by Georgia, and you're going to tell me that this team that now has 3 losses and gotten their ass kicked a few times is in the college football playoff.
Listen,
Get out of here.
Texas is the third best team in this state right now.
Yes.
They just are, behind Texas Tech and Texas A&M. And I'll also say this, as much respect, and I got a lot of, but you know how my affinity for Longhorns, but I will tell you, just watching, they haven't been great for a stretch other than the last couple games. They have not been, the inconsistencies have far outweigh the last couple games as far as who they are.
Right.
And we could keep talking about talent and potential and all that. I get it. And while Arch Manning had some drops, Arch Manning through this season, sans the last couple games where he's really started to play well until he ran into Georgia, he is not, I mean, we can't give hall passes to people because their last name, as much as I love Arch Manning, as much as I love the Manning family and Deion Sanders, we can't give hall, and Lenora Sellers, who I thought was a Heisman Trophy candidate coming into this year. South Carolina is underachieved, and Lenora Sellers, while a football playing Jesse and a grown-ass man. I don't know how we're still talking about him as a first-round pick, and I can go through these guys again. The top, Nussmeier's been benched, and they went on and won. Person, Lenora Sellers and Arch Manning. I mean, we see flashes of greatness from all of them that need good coaching, and they're getting good coaching in college. But Hall Pass, just judge the play. And if you're judging Texas's play overall this season, full body of work, the Texas Longhorns, as we sit today, are not worthy of being in the playoff. They're just not. And they are the third best team in the state. I didn't say most talented or potential. Texas Tech and Texas A&M, and A&M's going to get a chance, and so is Texas, to prove it. They are the two best Texas teams in this state, period. And right now, the Texas Longhorns don't belong in the playoff. Now, I don't know what the committee is going to say because I know Texas is good in the last couple of weeks. But for a team to go in and get curb stomped, it's either Texas wasn't very good or Georgia's off the charts. You tell me. And that's where we are. Hall passes because you're a blue blood, or hall passes because of name, or hall passes because how we had you before the season, doesn't mean squat. Ask Clemson about that and a few other teams, even South Carolina or LSU, who after week one, people have them as the favorite to win a national title, or the Miami Hurricanes. Yeah. Their quarterback has been inconsistent. He's the one that's held them back at times. So, yeah, Texas is not in the playoff right now, and I'll be shocked if they get in.
Yeah, if Texas is in the playoff right now, Georgia's your number one seed.
That's exactly right.
They just beat the hell out of them.
That's right.
I don't know if you saw LSU giving a Gatorade bath to their head coach after beating Arkansas. Talk about an organization that has fallen on dark times.
Expectations, but say the only reason I smirk at it is because he's an interim coach, and I'm sure they love him, and I get, well,
it's his first
win as a head coach. I get it.
I mean,
but that's not the standard at LSU, and you can't let that be the standard. But congrats to Coach Wilson for getting that first win. But as we see, LSU's really no threat right now.
You know who nobody's talking about when we talk? We talk about Texas Tech, but a team that sits at 8-2. Their losses are Texas Tech, who beat them up pretty bad, and then a 3-point loss to BYU. Utah sits at 8-2. And their final two games are against Kansas State and Kansas. They're going to be 10-2. How do we leave them out?
Does it shock you that Kyle Whittingham's teams physical their way into having this opportunity every single year? I'm going to tell you who the most overrated or underrated head coach in America is, and has been. Not in Utah's case, the way he's getting paid. Kyle Whittingham is college football's most underrated football coach. Now, people say, what about Eli? Eli's good, but he hadn't been doing it as long as head coach. What about Kansas head coach? What about, Leopold? You can go around some of these guys that are really good. I'm not saying they're not good, but how long he's been tenured, how many different changes, and how much they continue to win. But when I say, hey, man, I'm not talking about to the executives or ADs who would hire head coaches, because I know the respect they have for Kyle Whittingham. I'm just talking about in your everyday talk. If I said, name the top 10 coaches just with somebody on social media, do you know how many of them would mention Kyle Whittingham? Not very many.
Yeah.
Kyle Whittingham is the most underrated football coach in college football, period. And his teams, we left them for Dell. How are they? Well, here they are at 8-2 with the chance to end up 10-2 and be a real threat.
I mean, I'm surprised we haven't heard his name connected to Penn State. That's the type of he fits that Big Ten mold of, that physicality and what the style his teams play. that would fit right in at Penn State, and he, gets that job. I mean, at least he should be mentioned with LSU and Florida as well. Maybe not get
No
the
doubt.
jobs because of Lane and some other better coaches, in my opinion. But like a Penn State job for Kyle Whittingham, who we thought is going to move on from Utah at some points, over
I
the
don't
last
think so,
couple
Six.
years.
Yeah.
Maybe he just stays there and
Yeah.
just continues to build it. But he's always seems to be just one step outside the playoff, and they keep losing close games that cost them, and maybe Utah isn't the place that he can get over the hump and be in the playoff and win.
Consistently, they're a top 5 when it's a physical fist fight. Them, Georgia, when Alabama's at their best, Michigan, Ohio State. There's teams that are as physical as it gets. Every year, regardless of the personnel, they're as physical as any team in the country. They've staked their success on it. Now, I'll qualify this, and I don't need to, but I've known Kyle for a long time. He was my host on my recruiting visit to BYU because he played linebacker there. He's like Jim McMahon's class, right? A couple years older than me, and was a great host and was a hell of a tough. You can imagine how tough he was as a player.
Right.
But Segs, this has nothing to do with my feelings on him as underrated, because even if I didn't know him, I'd be saying the same thing because of what he's done at Utah. And we talked about, well, why not him? I know his name was mentioned by a lot of people when SC's job came open a couple times and a couple other jobs. And I'll be honest with you, Segs. You say, I've talked to him in the past, and we've had conversations. I'm not sure at this stage of the game, Kyle would leave. If all of a sudden they came and said, let's go to Penn State and we'll offer you 10 years at $100 million, I don't know if he'd take it. And I'm being honest about that because there's no way an AD, not just us, anywhere, there's no way athletic directors across this country and presidents across this country, when the names are being mentioned, he's never in trouble. He's always a stand-up guy. Is always, he just does his job, and they're not getting 5-star recruits on a regular basis. They're just not.
Right.
Nobody does more. He and a couple others do more with less than anybody in the country when it comes to coaching. And they get good players. Don't say they get studs and physical, nasty, great players, smart, but they're not getting the best quarterback out of California or Texas. They're not getting the top running back. They're just not. They're getting good players, but they're not going to get what Georgia or Alabama or LSU get. They're just not. But boy, do they develop. And so while I've known him a long time and I've had conversations, Segs, I don't know if he even wants a bigger gig. I don't. I think that he's and now Kyle's got to be pushing 64, 65 years old. He's in his early to mid 60s. And they love him so much there, and it's a secure gig. It doesn't matter who comes and goes. The constant at the University of Utah has been him. And I know he thinks he can win a national title, and they've been close, but he just haven't been able to get over the hump for whatever reason. Quarterback gets hurt. Something happens. But he's in high demand, but he may be one of those guys when he says, I love Utah and I'm staying. I'm not sure he wants to go test the waters anywhere else, considering I think he would say, we do just fine here. Now, maybe you can be tempted with money. I don't think he's a faith-based guy as well. Member of the LDS church, all his family's out there. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. I'm not sure Kyle Whittingham would leave for any price, and I'm being honest about that.
Yeah, I think, just with the
now, if they fired him, which they never if they fired him,
right.
Then
but that's
15 jobs are going to jump in the front and interview him, no doubt. But Utah's not doing that. He's too good.
Before we get out of here, we'll talk about Monday Night Football in a second. I want to go back to this Shedeur thing. I mean, you and Coach JB hit it perfectly, but I just keep seeing on Twitter, and these are, the reason I bring it up is because these are NFL analysts or NFL people in the business that continue to say dumb shit. Now we got Cam Newton on ESPN saying that he doesn't think Stefanski wants Shedeur to succeed. He's putting him in this spot for him to fail. Like, these are the same people that are saying this kind of stuff. Josina Anderson, another dumbass who continually, she put that one tweet up of, look at this 3rd and 10, oh my gosh, completion to a wide open Jerry Jeudy, who made a great play to get a first down. He went like 7 yards through 2 guys and got a first down.
It was that easy throw you have to make.
Yeah, it's just, I'm mind boggled by the fact that these people are out here in the media that have all this platform that are out here saying this stupid shit, and yet we continue to just let them get away with it. As ESPN, as And I get this time in day and age, it's all about views. It's all about clicks and all that bullshit. But Shedeur Sanders was awful. And not one of the people that bitched and moaned that, remember when it wasn't sure if he was going to be the backup quarterback when Joe Flacco was traded? They all just threw a bitch fit for 2 days until finally Stefanski's like, yeah, he's our backup. Like, just give me a second to kind of figure things out. And now those same people are saying, oh, well, maybe he shouldn't have been the backup to then come in a game because Dylan Gabriel got a concussion and got hurt. Maybe it should have been somebody else. It's like,
why?
I mean, the people in this situation, this Shedeur Sanders thing, are just moronic. And it can't be said loud enough how dumb these people are.
Listen, I give this a lot of thought all the time. Fans at home, you guys, a lot of you know football. We have a bunch of, from Isaiah to JRM 730 to Dr. J to Mike. I mean, the list goes on and on of people on the show and on any show and on social media. There's a lot of smart fans. I don't ever discount their opinion. When you start to discount it, though, when it just gets to a point where there's a different, it's not about the performance, it's about other stuff that it shouldn't be about. Is professional quarterbacks. Not saying they know more than you. I would like to think they probably have a little bit better idea what goes on in the locker room since they were in it.
Mm-hmm.
But whether it's myself or anybody, and like I said, I've learned from people that never played a lot. I'm just trying, whether it's media or whether it's a fan at home or ours, we can all disagree. That's fine. If you got an opinion that you think like Cam, that Stefanski's putting him in bad positions, I'll listen. If that's your take, I'll listen. I just don't understand the reasoning why a coach who may get fired would put a quarterback that has his results in his hand that would put a guy in looking for him to fail. Shedeur Sanders doesn't seem like the type of guy that seems like a fairly fun. I don't know what his preparation is, Segs. I really don't. We're speculating. Yeah. I don't know how much he prepares. I don't know what he does on his free time. I don't know what he's doing on his private time. Is he doing the lonely work that prepared him for this to be ready to play? I don't know. Only the guys in the building and only Shedeur Sanders knows that. But I don't know any coach that wants to put a guy in a position to fail so you can lose and possibly lose your job if you're Kevin Stefanski with that. So if Cam thinks that Stefanski's put him in bad position, fair. We can argue that or we can debate it. For me, it's this level is when Kurt Warner, Kurt Warner's a Hall of Famer, but anybody who's been a backup in this league and started games and been a backup. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to understand why you think that you understand the reps when the guy lived it. Luke McCown, myself, will go through it. And this has zero to do with Shedeur Sanders' skill set. Once again, we're compartmentalized, folks. Let's get some reasoning, some common sense here. If you think this is about a white guy playing a black quarterback or not wanting to succeed, or a black quarterback not succeeding for one, then and if you're race baiting over this, I can't fathom in this day and age why a coach or a player would want the success depending on the color of somebody's skin. I'm sure I'm naive to think that race doesn't exist. Of course it does, by somebody. But a coach who's been through and coached black and white quarterbacks, the guy went out and paid $230 million to an African-American. I'm not saying anybody's suggesting that Kevin Stefanski's racist with this.
Oh, but there's plenty out there.
But okay, well then the fact is that I can't fathom in this day and age, any day and age, that comes into a coach's or an individual in those locker rooms thinking, because the greatest melting pot of non-race is in a locker room, in my opinion, in the years I played. Nobody cared what your religion was, who you voted for, or what your race was, ever. Now, in their own private worlds, I don't know because I'm not them. But in this situation, I'm trying to compartmentalize and just judge the quarterback and the team based on this. Let me just walk you through real quick so we don't keep you forever. What happens on most teams? One more time to be heard. And I lived it for a decade as a guy who started games and was a backup to McMahon and Warren Moon and Rich Gannon. And then I started and Rich played and then Wade. I mean, I've seen it. Brad Johnson could tell you about this too. Is the backup quarterback's number one reps, unless, let's say, Dylan Gabriel had a hamstring but was going to play this week, say, if they've called it questionable or probable, you would give Shedeur Sanders a couple reps and you'd maybe even split him to get him just in case that the quarterback couldn't go. Boom, different outlier. The backup quarter, and I know the next one, well, you got a rookie starter and a rookie backup. Shouldn't you be giving him equal time in case some? You don't think like that.
No.
You're not doing that with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, when he's held, now he's hurt, but when he got hurt, Jameis Winston wasn't getting 40% of the first team snaps. You're just going to assume that Jameis, who's a pro and who's been in this situation before, studies extra, gets his reps during scout team. My first team reps came as the scout team as the backup when I wasn't playing, throwing against the first team defense, throwing on time, doing it right. Routes are the same. It's just verbally different. So you take it serious, which I did, and I'd like to think that most scout team quarterbacks do for a good look. Chase Daniel can answer this. That's what we do. And knowing in our mindset mentally that you're not getting a lot of work, not in training camp, you're just not. It was not an open competition in training camp. And it wasn't even an open competition for Dylan Gabriel. It was Joe Flacco's job. And he's still their best quarterback, and he's playing, like I said earlier, with JB in Cincinnati. So one is you just don't get the work. And now you can argue that they should get the work. I get it. Hell, us as backup quarterbacks would have loved to get more work. Yes, that's just how we're supposed to. Our mindset is different. You prepare a lonely work, get extra reps after practice, and you just got to know that I'm not getting any work. Now, when you may get a snap or two, Segs, Warren Moon's the quarterback. He's gone the whole day with the one team reps. We're in team drill, right? And we got 60 outside. He's run 8 plays in a row. It's a handoff. Sean, get in and get these next 2. And it could be that or a screen. Okay, That's your reps. That may be it for the week, unless you're running scout team, which the backup usually does if he wants those reps. And you should want those reps. So this isn't new. I just don't understand why the hype. Why? Because it's Shedeur Sanders that it's supposed to be any different than Kurt Warner when he was the backup to Trent Green, than Sean Salisbury. I don't even mean to use the third person. That was me being the backup to Warren Moon or Jim McMahon, or to Luke McCown or Josh McCown or Jameis Winston or anybody who's been in this role. It's the same for all of us. Now, once in a while, a coach will say, I'm playing you both. Then they'll both get in. They didn't go in thinking that he was going to play. And we can all argue and debate, man, that's stupid. At least 20% of the reps should go to the backup. Well, starters don't want to give up those reps either. They don't want anybody. Right. They want them. And if the starter says he wants the reps, he's going to get them. So it's just a mindset. That's why a lot of times backup quarterbacks make decent coaches, because they've had to get ready without reps. They just had to. So you've played the game in your mind, mental reps. I know it's cheesy and kind of elementary to say, but it's fact. So I understand if you argue that you want Shedeur to play, well, you're going to get that wish more than likely if the concussion protocol, right? You'll get that wish. And I get it. If you think you wanted to play because the Browns suck and their offense blows, I get it. But are we giving Shedeur the same love you'd give Dylan Gabriel as a backup? I'm talking about reps-wise on just the way protocol works on a team. Now, if you like Sanders more than Gabriel, have at it. If you like Sanders and think he's getting ripped off and the coach has put him in bad position, fine. Their offensive line, they've had Pro Bowls, they're sucked. They couldn't block anybody yesterday. And he made it worse by jacking the ball off for extra seconds when he knows the rush is coming. Just get it out of your hand and let it go. And you could tell he didn't understand, and rightfully so. Rookie coming in, didn't even get one start. Guys are coming. I'm telling you, I've been there. It feels like 15 guys are on defense. I get it, because you haven't even been able to identify. Guys are showing you over here and blitzing you over here, and then you're just scrambling around looking at the rush, trying to make any play. And that part I get. He wasn't very good at doing it, but then again, the Cleveland Browns offense sucked ass, the play calling, the execution of it, and he was part of it. Mm-hmm. If you think that he should be starting, that's great. But you can't argue, they don't give him reps. Well, all these people who said they don't give him reps, yes, you're right, because he's the backup. And especially when the starter's a rookie, he needs the reps to perform. And as a backup, I'm sorry to tell you, all the people who disagree, what have you, you can disagree all you want. This is the protocol in the league, that you're giving your team the best chance to win. You're not playing for, well, what if the guy gets hurt or performs? Well, then my job as a backup to mentally have shaped myself up to go in there and not let my team down, even when they're playing shitty, as they did offensively the entire game, and quite frankly, most of the year. Their best football has been played by the guy who now is throwing for 300 yards a week in Cincinnati. So this isn't a Shedeur Sanders talent knock. It's not, oh my gosh, let's not play the African-American quarterback well because, you know what, we're just not going to do that. I don't know how the personalities conflict. This is just protocol. White, black, Mormon, Catholic, Protestant. It doesn't matter. Tall, short, it doesn't matter. When you're the backup quarterback, you get minimal reps. If you're lucky, it's a handoff with the first team. And if you don't get that, then you better walk yourself through game situations in case this happens. Because most coaches don't think, well, what if the negative happens? They're thinking, well, if negative happens, then my backup better sure shit have himself ready to play. So I don't know why Shedeur Sanders gets. If you want Sanders to play, I get that argument. I understand. He's obviously not ready. Neither is J.J. McCarthy for the most. A lot of these guys aren't. Even Jackson Dart isn't really ready. He'll be even better next year. It just like Jaden Daniels. See, the Jaden Daniels and C.J. Strouds, that's not normal. But remember, they both won the job, so they were getting first-team reps. Right. Michael Penix eventually after he beat out, Cousins. So judge the performance and why. But the protocol, guys, you can't argue. You can argue who you think should play, but this is not new. And I don't understand why we're giving Shedeur Sanders different treatment than we would give any other backup for the last 40 or 50 years that's played the position. Coaches just don't think like maybe we do. You don't think that his backup quarterbacks, myself or Chase Daniel or Luke McCown or Steve Bono or Josh McCown, didn't want more work? Of course we did. But guess what? Hence why we're the backup. The starter was better. Yeah. Even though we may not have thought it, but I can tell you that Warren Moon or Sean Salisbury, you're taking Warren Moon. But it's my job, as it was in the San Francisco, to go in and come off the bench, or when Rich got hurt in the game, to come off the bench, Rich Gannon, who eventually was the MVP with the Raiders, to come off the bench and make sure my teammates can trust what I'm doing. So this isn't different. I just don't know why. White quarterbacks, black quarterbacks, Hispanic quarterbacks, Hawaiian quarterbacks, whatever, every single one of them that's been a backup has faced this. I don't know why Shedeur is different. If you want to argue he should be starting, have at it. But don't argue why he's not getting reps, first-team reps, because if you're arguing why he's not getting first-team reps, you simply do not understand the protocol in an NFL locker room. You don't have to like the protocol, but that's the way it works, period. The backup salesman ain't getting the best deals, and neither is the backup quarterback, period.
And Coach JB said it. This dude was a 5th-round pick. I get he's a big name. His dad's a mega star.
I don't give a shit about the name.
Right.
I don't care.
Exactly. And the same people that are bitching and moaning and giving them all this leeway are the same people that are hard on all these rookies when they come in and struggle and want the immediate success. Well, now when your guy, because, I mean, let's just face it, Shedeur is their guy. They've put their name behind it now. When he struggles and people start calling him out, they get a little pissy and they start making excuses. But if Stefanski would have put in Bailey Zappi yesterday instead of Shedeur, the internet would have exploded.
But in truth, Bailey Zappi should be more ready to play. Why? Because he's had first-team reps plenty of times in the league. Not that he's a better player than Shedeur, but I guarantee you, if Bailey Zappi didn't get one first-team rep this week. Why? Because those are reserved for Dylan Gabriel. And now they'll be reserved for Shedeur Sanders if he plays. Now you can go out there and say, okay, now what if, Sigs, and just say, what if he struggles this week and he gets all the first-team reps? What are we going to say now? That he wasn't prepared? But Shedeur, Shedeur should be treated like every other backup quarterback in the league. When it's your turn, you better prepare to be ready to play. And even if it's not your turn, you better be prepared to be ready to play. And it's not him that's saying this. It's everybody else. But that's the protocol in the league. I want to know how many backups got work when Shedeur was the starter at Colorado. Call his dad and ask him. How many backups do you think? How many backups do you think how many reps do you think that Price's backup or that Arch's backups getting at Texas? How many reps do you think they're getting? You know when they're going to get it? If Arch comes and says, "Hey man, come here and grab this play real quick. I need to get a little water or a little Gatorade." That's it, and that's for every quarterback. It doesn't matter where they're from or who they are.
Those guys sitting behind Arch Manning, there's 5 stars, there's high 4 stars that could be starting somewhere else, yet they want to be at the University of Texas, and they're kind of biding their time till they get their shot, and they know it. So, I mean, it's just they're not a 5th-round pick that, hasn't showed. I mean, if Shedeur Sanders came out and was awesome in camp, even doing scout team and all that stuff, he would be playing. But he hasn't been. It's clear.
Well, if he would have won the job outright, but even if he was awesome, he was still going to be more than likely the 3rd-string quarterback because of where he was drafted, unless Dylan Gabriel pissed down his leg the entire time. So, and if it was flipped, we'd be saying the same thing. Well, or I'd be saying the same thing because I'm judging the quarterback as the backup. You don't get reps. And I wouldn't be pining, and I don't think anybody'd be pining, honest to God, regardless of the result right now. If Shedeur would have beat out Dylan Gabriel, and some people think that he's better, and that's fine. That's an opinion you're allowed to have, and it's a good debate. But just on that, if it would have been reversed, not a soul would be having, why isn't the backup getting first-team reps? That's my problem here. every single backup quarterback, and some great ones in the world that have won a lot of games in football coming off the bench. Every single one of them. And have won games coming off the bench, started games. Yeah, it's a much easier week when you get first team reps because you see it better. But if you're not, you got to study harder and you got to stick around after and talk to coach and throw routes to your players. Is that next week, this week coming up, 32 backup quarterbacks for the most part, unless the guy's questionable, but he still may play, are going to get the same treatment. The backup ain't getting any work, so you better take scout team serious.
Yep. It's something we'll obviously probably continue to talk about as it goes on.
Baffling,
and
man.
see if
Baffling.
Dylan Gabriel can get out of concussion protocol this
week. And we'll talk about this more than a guy who scored 6 touchdowns, threw 3 and ran for 3 yesterday, and against a really good Tampa team. I mean, the stuff that we could, I mean, good gracious, the way Philadelphia took care of their business and dominated, and Jalen Hurts just still finds ways to win even when he's not playing his best. Targeted, AJ a little bit more. Neither offense was explosive, but their defense stepped up. And that Seattle, a really good team, urinated down their leg, and the Rams are friggin' really good. So there's so many storylines, and there's starting quarterbacks that need to be talked about. Now this week, Shedeur gets a start. He's going to get talked about more than anybody the whole week.
Oh, yeah. Just
on a team that can't beat me and you offensively.
He will lead off every ESPN show this week, unless something happens with the Lakers or Cowboys, which Cowboys, I mentioned tonight, Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus your Raiders. Cowboys, a road 3.5-point favorite. Will there be any defense played in this game? That's
no. I would take the over. I didn't even look at the over. This game's so
that's at 49.5.
Give me the over. I don't see how you're going to. Genty will get his. Gino will throw for 300. Dak will throw for 300. CD will, they'll score. Here's the thing, though. 3 decades ago, these two teams, they were a bitch to deal with.
Oh, yeah. This game would have been must-watch TV.
Oh, my God. You can, when both of them were at their best in their history, you're like, I'm not missing this. Matter of fact, this is going to be the high Raiders, old school Raiders, commitment to excellence, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. This game would have had, even if you hated football or hated both these teams, you were going to watch. Now it's like Cowboys and Raiders, commitment to mediocrity on one side. And if they're America's team, it's only because they still got a star on their helmet, because there's a lot of teams that have surpassed that. Yet people will still watch because it is the Raiders and it is the Cowboys, and the uniforms will look sweet, I'm sure.
Yep.
But what a bummer, because neither team is much of a threat.
No.
So take the over. Give me the Cowboys. As much as I hate to say it against my Raiders, I think the Cowboys probably are a touchdown better, and I haven't seen enough good football from the Raiders on either side of the ball. They'll go get after them a little bit. There'll be sacks and some turnovers, but I wouldn't expect any of us think that in January you're going to see either one of these teams in 2026 January.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Raiders, no-brainer, and not the Cowboys either.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys and the over, which means the Raiders will win by 2 touchdowns, because that's how the NFL is going this year.
Sure, and that's why I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Exactly. So. Don't bet on the NFL unless you just like to give your money away to rich people.
52% win rate in the NFL, and you are a superstar in the gambling world, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about those Bills. We're going to talk more about those Chiefs. We're going to talk about
been almost a decade since they haven't won the division, and they ain't winning the division.
Right. Talk about the first place Chicago Bears. And
how about that, Sags?
Arguably the best division in football.
How about that, Sags?
Hey, if you would have told me 10 games in that they're in first place, I would have told you you're lying.
Yes, coaching does matter, huh?
I guess coaching does matter, which if you're Dallas, you're employing that one guy named Matt Eberflus as your defensive coordinator. And I know he lost Micah Parsons, but they haven't played a lick of defense all season long. So have fun with him as your defensive coordinator. And then we got to talk about Oklahoma going to Tuscaloosa.
What a huge win.
I mean,
didn't you get a feel from the start of that game, though, Sags, the way Oklahoma came out? It almost felt like, there's something uncut. When Price starts throwing the ball to the other team, because he doesn't, early in a game, you knew something wasn't right.
Right.
Unlike A&M, Alabama couldn't overcome it. And right back to what happened, Venables has done a hell of a job this year. Yes. He really has. And Oklahoma, take care of your business, and you're a playoff team as well. That was a monster win for Oklahoma. Maybe as big as we had this weekend.
And here's the thing. So tomorrow, let's talk about this. Let's look at the teams. We're going to get our rankings tomorrow night. But let's look at these teams and how they set up in terms of if they do run the table, because now you got Bama with 2 losses. What if they lose? What if, Oklahoma with 2 losses? What if they lose? Because I'm always at this point where 3 losses and you're out. Now, we've never seen a team, and we've only had it, once? But even when we were talking like the 4 team, we never had that 2-loss team, sneak in. So I think, or do we have 1? We might have had 1.
But we didn't have a 3-loss team.
It took crazy. It took crazy to get the 2-loss team in. Now with the 12-team playoff, I don't see a 3-loss team getting in with as many 1 and 2-loss teams that
unless everybody in front of them went to hell in a handbasket. They all had 2 losses them damn selves, right?
Right.
Exactly. Or 3 of the good ones had 3 losses them damn selves. But if we're just judging not by what the blue blood is, performance. Right now, a 3-loss Texas team has no business being in the playoff, and they're not, nor should they be today. Now, they go beat the shit out of A&M, and something happens along the way. We'll see. But right now, I cannot make an argument for Texas in the playoff right now. I just can't.
Right. Yeah. So I want to.
You guys out and love it. You guys out and love it. Just keep flying under the radar, man.
Enjoy it.
You guys out, damn right.
And enjoy it. Don't worry about who's talking about you. Don't, because
I got news for you. The team's already the players across college football and the coaches know how good Texas Tech is. But as a national story, maybe it's not sexy enough to me.
Lubbock, it's just
but they haven't seen this type of team since Mike Leach had them beat Texas, and since they were going. Now they are real. Make no mistake about it.
All right, so we got a ton to talk about tomorrow. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. Follow us at Sean Unfiltered, at Adam G. Sager, at Unpaved on Rumble. Thanks to Triple E, thanks to Laura, thanks to Bailey, thanks to Coach JB, who's on with us every Monday, bringing the passion. And a couple things he said just had me just put my head down and just laugh, because
he's good for that every week, brother. You know that.
Yeah. Yep. So we will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Unpaved, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.